Are you looking to land a new job, a promotion, or an opportunity? Then you tuned into the right channel. Welcome to Get Hired. In today's show, we're going to be talking about how to sell your strengths so you can get that job or opportunity that you desire. Don't go away. We will be right back. And a very warm welcome to another episode of Get Hired. In today's show, we're going to be talking about how to sell to your strengths. I'm your host, Bridgetti Lim Banda from Cape Town in South Africa, and our stream is made possible by StreamYard and BeLive Media. A special warm welcome to you, our audience. If you're with us over on Amazon Live, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, or over on LinkedIn. Now, Get Hired is all about helping you to level up so that you can get the opportunity or job that you are looking to find. And so we've got some gear recommendations for you. If you've missed some of our past shows, do go back and watch them because we did take a deep dive into gear recommendations. But just to refresh your memory again about the kind of things that you need to be mindful of, one of the things is being able to look good on camera. And so a recommendation that I've got for you is to invest in either a webcam or DSLR camera. A webcam is the more affordable option. And the one that I am using right now is the Logitech Brio, which is a 4K camera. It also comes with trademarked right light and HDR technology. And what that means in English is that it will automatically adapt to your lighting conditions. But as we said in the previous episodes, do ensure that you not have too much light coming from behind you. You do want to have front facing light. And so the Logitech Brio will automatically make sure that that light looks evenly distributed so you can show up your best. Apart from showing up your best, you also want to ensure that your interviewer can hear you. And so you do want to invest in something like either earphones, good quality earphones, so that you can hear well and they can hear you well, because this microphone is still better than the one that comes with your laptop or your desktop or your phone. What I use is the Samsung condenser microphone. It comes with a solid die-cast construction to reduce noise vibrations and makes it ideal if you're going to be working online as part of your job. Alternatively, not everyone wants to have a big microphone. The other investment you could make is something like the Rode Lavalier, which is a clip-on microphone, and that'll also make you sound great. Now, sometimes when you do an interview, you may not always have access to a laptop or desktop, and you can use your phone. Again, I want to remind you, just go back to the previous episodes because we did cover this in depth. You want to use a tripod or some way to stabilize your phone, and do keep your phone in landscape mode, not portrait mode. And what I mean by that You'll know if your phone is in portrait mode if you see those black lines on the side and they can just see a slither of you and you don't show up your best. So make sure that you put your phone into landscape mode. And again, as I said, you do want to use a tripod, or you could use something like a stabilizer. This is the DJI Osmo stabilizer on top of your tripod, or you could use something like the iographer, again, not in portrait mode, but you want to keep it into landscape mode so that you use the real estate that's available to you on the screen to the best of your ability. Now I want to introduce my amazing co-host. Aletta is the founder of Voicing Your Potential, and she's passionate about helping you speak like a professional so you can get noticed, remembered, and hired. She is a certified world-class speaking coach. She's trained and spoken in 22 countries, and she's got a proven system to help you get hired. And with that, Aletta, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Bridgetti. Lovely to be with you and with the listeners today, or viewers, shall we say.
Yes, absolutely. Viewers, listeners, anyone who's tuned in, whether you are watching us live or on the replay, great to have you here. You know, the topic for today, Aletta, I think is something a lot of people struggle with. Um, sharing something that you're good at. How do you share it in a manner that you can shine? Um, do you find people struggle with that?
Bridgetti, it's almost the common denominator with all our clients and our students. Almost everybody struggles to sell their strengths. So you might know that you're good at something, but somehow maybe it's a cultural thing. It's been embedded into us that we shouldn't brag, we shouldn't be arrogant, and somehow telling people how good you are at something strays into that category. And that's often where people find a tremendous discomfort. But whether you are in an interview or whether you're in a meeting trying to get a new client or sell your services as an entrepreneur, you have to be able to articulate your strengths, but more than that, articulate them in a way that's relevant to the person you're speaking to. So absolutely, this is without doubt one of the toughest things that people have to overcome. But the good news is it's once you know how and you understand the mindset that goes with it, it's not that difficult to do.
I think you're right. I think it is a mindset. Um, People feel like they're bragging, as you said, and they feel that they're not authentic, and so it's a mindset that you have to get over. Now you've put together quite a nice slideshow here that illustrates the point. So I'm going to put that onto screen so we can get into our topic because that's after all what people want to do is they want to get hired. But so now, let's dive into how they can do that in a manner that's effective.
Hmm. So, when it comes to selling your strengths, it might surprise you to know that many people find it difficult to know what their strengths are. And there's a very good reason for that. Often, if you do something quickly, easily, innately, you don't think it's a big deal. For you, it's just normal that you can put a spreadsheet together in 5 minutes and it's really fancy, or that you can put together a project plan very easily, and other people come to you and they say, "Won't you please help me? Because you're so good at this, you do it so quickly and easily." That's often a clue that what you do is exceptional, even though to you it seems run of the mill, it's nothing, fancy at all. But think about the things that others have complimented you for, that others turn to you for. And that's often a good first clue as to what your strengths are.
I think sometimes, isn't it a letter that we forget that a skill is acquired over a long period of time, and it's sort of the learning process is continuous, and I think we sometimes forget the value of that accumulated skill, isn't it?
Absolutely. And remember, your strength isn't necessarily only confined to skills. In other words, technical skills. It can also be your ability to work with people, your ability to diffuse conflict. All of those are strengths that are very valuable in the business context. It's not just something that you do a course on and get a certification in. It's sometimes your ability to keep people calm, your ability to inspire people. All those are valuable, valuable strengths that companies need and teams need. So you've got to think a bit broader than just what technical skills do I have. So as you can see on the slide, what do other people come to you for, and what do you do easily that others struggle to do? So one of the resources we make available to all our clients and potential clients is the high5test.com. It's a free test. If you just go to the website www.high5test.com, they have a wonderful test they put you through. It's a whole bunch of questions, and the outcome of that is your top 5 strengths. Now, there are many personality tests out there, but what I love about the High 5 test is that it gives you the language to articulate how that strength makes a difference to a team or a project or a company. So it's really, really useful from that viewpoint, where you can take some of the language they give you and use that when you're telling people what you can do for them.
I think a lot of people come unstuck, isn't it? It's trying to, you know what you can do, but how do you articulate it? How do you put it into words? People struggle with that.
Exactly. So to illustrate the difference, if you know you're good at strategic thinking, you can say, I'm good at strategic thinking, but that doesn't say the whole story. But if you say, I have the ability to look at a complex problem from a helicopter view and see kind of an overview of all the moving pieces, and I can from that extract what the best solution is strategically to move us forward to our goal. That you kind of color in the picture for the people to say it's strategic thinking and this is how it makes a difference. Or let's take another example. You're very good at inspiring a team to work together. You're good at building trust and consensus. So you can say you're good at team building, but that's not the full story. The full story is you have an ability to work with people from diverse backgrounds, cultures, technical skills, and you're able to bring them together and keep them focused on that bigger picture and inspire them so that they can all be motivated to deliver on time. And that becomes a far richer explanation of what you do and how it can be useful.
In other words, so what you're saying is show the company not just what you can do, but how that skill or that strength is going to benefit their company.
Absolutely. And what do companies generally look for? Anything that you can do that will save time, anything that you can do that will save money, anything that you can do that will improve efficiency or build a strong dynamic team. Those are all common things that, irrespective of the industry, are important to companies. So always think of your skills and your ability to add impact in terms of what problem will it solve, what value will it add to that company. And once you get specific like that, it's easier to articulate the impact that you can have.
I think that's such a great point that you're making there, because if you're a good train driver, but you're applying for a job with an airline, that's not going to help you very much. So you've got to make sure that your skill set or your strengths is something that's going to become an asset to the company that you're hoping to apply to.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all about how do you make a difference, and how does what you bring with your skill set, your attitude, your experience, how does that benefit the team? So one of the ways that I like to look at it, and I think it's in one of the next slides, is if you can think of your strengths as your God-given talents, whatever you want to call them, they are in fact a contribution. So instead of thinking of yourself as bragging about these strengths and these skills and I'm so wonderful, think about it. I have got God-given talents that I can bring to this team, to this department, to this company. And these talents and strengths can make a difference. It's my contribution to the team. And once you look at it that way and think about what can you add, what value can you bring, sometimes it's easier for people to start speaking about their strengths because it's not coming from a place of arrogance, it's coming from a place of contribution, of wanting to help solve a problem, wanting to build consensus, wanting to find a solution.
That is a great way of looking at it, as you say, because it's a mind flip, going from I'm not bragging about myself, but I can offer you a solution. This is how I can make it better. This is how I can do it faster.
Yes.
I've got a shortcut way of doing XYZ. It's going to save you so much time, or it's going to make the team work together in a much better manner, more efficient. Just something. So that's a very nice mind switch. I like that.
And it's so simple, but yet it's so profound. And I think what I'm inviting our viewers to do is to consider what they're good at and to think of examples in their life when they've taken their strengths and they've brought it to a situation, and what contribution have they made? What difference has that made? Because it's always good to be able to say, let me give you an example. When I led a team and we did this, I was able to lead them or keep them focused on the bigger picture or get them to save time or money, whatever it is. But if you can tell a story which illustrates that strength in action and that contribution in action, then it adds substance to your claims. And again, it brings down that risk of feeling that you're being arrogant by saying, I'm so good at this. You're saying, let me just show you what a difference I can make, and have a story ready. And that in itself can help other people understand exactly what you mean. And the high five test is very good with that. One of my strengths was that I'm a deliverer. And the impact of that is that people know that if they give me something to do, I will get it done. I will move heaven and earth and I will deliver on time. And that's a huge strength to bring to a team or a project. So whatever your strength is, they give you the language and they give you kind of a sketch of how it shows up and why it's so valuable. So I really encourage you to do that high five test and get your top 5 strengths, and then think of examples in real life where you've put them into action and look at the language so that you can practice saying it out loud ahead of an interview so that you're comfortable sharing it. And think of it this way. The people interviewing you might be so relieved to find someone who can actually bring their strength to solve a problem. That's why they're looking for someone. They're looking for problem solvers. And you, by articulating your strength and giving examples and knowing your strength, you can just make their life so much easier by spelling it out for them.
Who would have thought that the art of storytelling could help land you a job?
It's very important, in fact. The thing is that if you think of 5 or 6 people having a resume and being interviewed, the resumes are probably relatively similar. But your job when you go for an interview is to bring that resume to life. And the way you do that is by sharing your stories. And if you share stories of experiences that you've had, you come to life as a candidate. You come alive. You suddenly have a personality instead of giving stock answers that you think they want to hear. But your ability to share stories can be a game changer.
And isn't it true, Aletta, that interviewers will know if you giving them a cookie cutter response?
Yeah.
They've heard it all. This is their day job, interviewing people. So if you give them a response that you think they want to hear, they will know that it will lack authenticity. So get your stories together, and preparation.
And preparing out loud as well, because in an interview itself, you might be quite anxious. And then it's very difficult to come up with a story in that moment. But if you take the time to do it ahead of time and think of the stories that have made a difference and think of what they might be interested in, Stories about leadership, stories about time management, stories about teamwork, stories about going above and beyond and finding innovative solutions. So you can think of the categories that might be very important for the role you're interviewing for. And ahead of that interview, think, well, what stories have I got when I made a contribution to a team or a project and I made a difference? And practice saying them out loud, but you want to have them quite short. At most 2 minutes would be more than enough time to articulate what it is you do, why you're good at it, and the difference it makes.
So, having those key points written down, maybe just, on a little piece of paper,
Yes.
just to jot your memory, because I think sometimes, we have so much happening in our lives that our minds become clouded sometimes. But if you just have 3 keywords, just something to jog your memory,
That's a brilliant idea, because
very
that also
useful.
gives it takes some of the anxiety away, because you've got something just to get you going. So the reality is that the job market, depending on your country, but I think overall, it's a pretty tough competitive job market. So your task is to give yourself the best chance when you go for an interview. And the one part of the interview process you have 100% control over is the preparation that you do. And your stories are stories only you can tell. No other candidate can tell your story. So your story can make you stand out. And your story can make you a very appealing candidate. If you've just done the homework, one of the easiest ways to find out which stories are important is look at the job description for the role you're interviewing for. See what key skills and competencies they're looking for, or attitudes, whatever it is, and see if you can come up with a story for each of those ahead of time. Practice saying it out loud. Be ready to tell them how you can add value with that particular skill. And then you are already way ahead of the game.
And that I was thinking about this the other day. One of the reasons we need to become better at this is that we are now no longer simply competing with people in our own locality or location. We are now competing with a global market for jobs, because with the advent of the ability of people to work remotely, companies are no longer just hiring people in their own town or their own country even. You can now get a job any country in the world. So the competition has increased,
Yeah.
and so you need to level up on your job application process and prepare very well, and just acquire these skills.
And a lot of it is common sense, preparation, and practice. So it's available to you if you're willing to put in the time and effort ahead of the interview to get up to speed and to give yourself the best chance. But if you choose to wing it, like I used to do many years ago, you're gambling, quite frankly. And luckily, I saw the light many years ago, and I don't do that anymore. But you really owe it to yourself, to your future, just to set aside the time, make the time to give yourself the best opportunity, because you've got the skills, the talents, the commitment. You'd be an asset to a company, but you've got to convince them of that in those short few minutes that you have in an interview.
Absolutely. And again, if you guys missed the previous episodes, we have spoken about those critical few moments of the introduction to your interview. So please do go back and watch the past episodes of Get Hired. Aletta, thank you so much. I think this was very, very useful and helpful. I'm always learning something from you with each one of these episodes. So thank you for sharing. And again, just, perspective is everything, as we said, Aletta. Don't see it as bragging, but see it as how your skills can help the company that you're applying to, and tell stories of how you can help them, or how you've helped your previous company. Any closing comments before we say goodbye to our viewers?
I think just go ahead, do that high five test, because that'll get you going. It's so helpful, and that'll just give you some of the language. You've got the strengths, but sometimes you just need a bit of help identifying them. Then you can work with them, and then you can strut your stuff and sell your strengths.
Fantastic. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you back on the next episode of Get Hired. Stay well, stay safe, and goodbye for now.